Dum dum dum. Welcome back to your favorite ever podcast. I'm Oliver George. I'm still chronically ill. You're probably still chronically ill. You've got a chronic illness. I've got a chronic illness. We've all got a chronic illness. And this is Sick with Sarcasm. I'm glad you're here again. And if you're not here again, but you're here for the first time, I'm so glad you're here. This is brilliant news. I need to tell you about the MCAS diet. Like, what? It's one of those things, isn't it? Chronic illness, diet, yuck. Because, for example, I saw someone once and they told me, you got fibromyalgia, you've got hypermobility spectrum disorder, you've got all these things and label all these things. And then it was like, oh, and MCAS is probably most definitely involved. It's a new thing, but it's it sounds very MCAS. And I was like, okay, I've heard there's a diet for this. Is that necessary? Do I have to do that? And she's like, well, I'm not going to lie, you're not getting that much enjoyment from life as it is, so I don't want to take any more away from you. I was like, yeah, cool. So then I tried these medications and they haven't really been working. So I'm like, well, I either don't have MCAS and we're barking up the wrong tree, or I've got MCAS and I need different medications. And I feel like a good way to do this is to do this rule it out diet. And don't get me wrong, it's not fun. Porridge for breakfast, free from oats, because although gluten isn't an MCAS thing, if you've got some gut issues and gluten might not be good for chronic illness. So it's just another thing that I need to cut out to then reintroduce to then see if it's a problem. So forget that, but I'm having porridge. So I have plain free from oats, plain, just oats with organic almond, however you want to say the nut, milk, poured in, microwave, done. Bland as hell. It's okay because this is a science experiment. And if it's a science experiment, it's okay. And I'll carry on doing it. I'm trying to reassure myself like I'm doing every single fucking meal. My lunch, plain chicken breast, 150 grams. Either plain white rice, and it can't be the microwave stuff because that has sunflower oil in. Brilliant. So plain just rice, standard rice, 150 grams of chicken breast, and then a green leafy veg, which actually has to kind of be broccoli. And then the only additional thing, I love mayonnaise. I can't have mayonnaise. I love a sauce. I just love a sauce. I'm a sauce guy. I love a sauce. I can't have a sauce anymore. So I bought some Himalayan salt. That's meant to sound really exciting. I bought some Himalayan salt. That's better. And oh my God, I've never been so grateful for salt. Just some form of flavor. That's like the only flavor I get all day is salt. Or there was something else. Oh my God, jazz apples. You're allowed apples. I'm normally a Pink Lady guy or a really good Brayburn guy. Jazz have come into my life recently, and great. Out the fridge, cold, crisp, juicy. Most importantly, they have some flavor. So I'm like, give me that. So I have 2 of those a day because I'm desperate for flavor. So I'm actually doing 2 birds with 1 stone because the doctors say, what are you eating? And now I'm eating that no one can complain about anything I'm eating. If anyone's got any complaints, speak to the hand because the face ain't listening. No, I'm open. If I'm eating something dodgy, please tell me. I'm not, but if I am, and I thought, well, I'm going to lose loads of weight. And so it'd be really cool to do I had this great idea for a TikTok video where I'm like stood as I am. And I'm like, the doctors told me to lose weight for chronic illness. And then it cuts and it goes to the next one. And I'm like really skinny. And I'm like, so I did. And I'm still fucked. So, hey, wait a few months, maybe. Who knows? Because the MCAS diet is minimal. And I've sort of managed to separate my brain and be like, it's okay. Although you are, I can only describe it as like a chubby kid. That's who I am. I've grown up loving food. I'm a foodie. I love food. I love flavor. I have a weird sensation. I have a weird sort of amazing feeling towards textures. And Yeah, I just love it, and I get so much joy out of it. And yes, I am and always have been a comfort eater. And so chronic illness is bad. I normally eat some crisps and dip, or something like that. It's a go-to thing, but I can't do that anymore. So I've got to find a new outlet. So I've started jogging. Jokes, can't jog. Pelvic region doesn't allow it. Chronic illness. You get it. Anyway, enough on MCAS. Oh, why am I doing it? MCAS is a histamine thing. So the body is, as are all of our bodies, panicking. And it's like, oh, nah, don't eat that. Don't do that. Don't feel that. Or I'm going to just send shitloads of histamine and basically give your whole body an allergic reaction, which can cause so many different symptoms. And so the body's overproducing histamine for many different reasons. And one of them, a big factor, is the food we're eating. So we'll see. Maybe my body's a professional histamine producer, but maybe it's not. But this is the only way I can definitely tell, and so I have to do it, because the next appointment I want with my consultant is to go in and say, look, I've done this diet for this long and it's had no effect, which suggests we're barking up the wrong tree. Woof woof. Moving on. I am going straight into Q&A, Q&A, Q&A. I'm on a roll today. I'm on a roll. I don't know if it's this MCAS diet, but I'm full of it. I can tell you why I'm full of it. It's because last night I watched Oliver again for a third time. West End. Stop it. Stop it. It makes me weep so much. I'll give him a special mention because he'll never see this. Oscar is ridiculous. And it's like everything I grew up wanting to be in theatre, Oscar is now doing that as Mr. Bumble. He also plays Fagin, to which I have seen him play Fagin. He's just everything I wanted to be in more before the illness came. Like slapstick is just, it's just crazy good. Facial expressions, the silliness, the stupidity, and the fun, and oh god, I'm just so in love with Oliver and apparently Oscar. That's what I want to do, and that's who I want to be, and that's where I want to. Blah 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 blah. Shut your mouth. Q&As. Where was I? Coping mechanisms for long-term illness. It's very personal because it's your journey, and it's who you are, and it's what your outlets are, I suppose. Like for me, coming into it, you might be the same. I'd imagine most people with a chronic illness are the same, but when you first get chronically ill, you lose all of your ability to go into your escapes and coping mechanisms for life. So I'm talking, I went to the gym, I sang, I performed, I went for runs, I did all of the things that I can no longer do. Like I can't do any of that now. So like my normal human outlets were cut off. So then you've got no outlets. So then you have to face up to your chronic illness without outlets. So then you're just sat there like, I have no outlets. I'm really sad. I really need to go for a run or sing, but I can't do that. So I'm stuck without any outlets. So it's awful. And so you find it, your own journey, because perhaps you've still got some of those outlets, to which I would say tap into them as much as possible, because you have to focus on the small things, and your outlets will become, even if you don't have them now, you'll find new outlets like I have done. Look at me, sat in bed, talking to you, podcast, social media, new outlets that I can control. Not control, I'm not controlling, but that I can sort of make sure I'm not doing too much of. And so it's a safe outlet. Don't do anything silly, because when I first got ill, I was like, fuck this, I'm singing. And I'd just sing and cause immense pain, and I'd be absolutely fucked for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. You name the weeks, that's how long I was fucked for. The other thing is like pep talks. And again, this happens. It's part of your own process. I don't want to say to you, this is what you need to do to cope with your long-term illness, because I genuinely believe everyone's is very personal. I could say it to you if we had like a one-to-one call. I'd like to think I'd be able to help you find that, because I've been on the journey. And so, you need to know to your core what makes you happy. and that's it. But I don't. Yeah. So I don't want to give you like a set pep talk either, because a set pep talk would be for me personally. Like I know I can be mean to myself in a nice way. And so like I find it funny when I'm like, if I'm thinking something negative, like we go from A to Z, right? We go from A to Z. If you're living with a chronic illness, you go from A to Z in your brain. Of course you do, because you're panicking and you're sad and you're lonely and you've got all of these horrible things happening. So it's only natural for my brain to go, oh, I'm struggling to talk today because of the pain in my neck. So A, that's thought A, and then to Z is like, so I'm never going to talk again. So I can't socialize. I love being sociable. I won't be able to perform again. So I may as well die. That's literally what happens. We go from A to Z. And so I've sort of learned to try and not let it go to Z, because otherwise loads of Zs spoil a lot of things. And for a long time, they spoil a lot of things for me. And I'm talking that I was going A to Z for 4 years, 5 years, a long time. And so lots of Zs equals depression, but with Zs, it didn't really work. I tried. So now I'm like, okay, I'm in a lot of pain today. Thought A, can't talk much. Thought A. And then I actually just go, it's sad, but let's not dwell on this, mate. And I have a little pep talk with myself. I'm like, bang, okay, I'm thinking this. Okay, this is shit. What do we need? What do we need? Chill out, dude. Go and sit on the sofa. Feel sorry for yourself. I would say have a bag of crisps, but I'm not allowed that anymore. So have a bowl of porridge, mate, with no toppings. Great. I won't do that. But you get the idea. Like I'm trying to just allow space for it to go, okay, A, we are here in the present with thought A because this is actually happening now. We don't need to go to thought Z where it's like, I may as well not be here. Because, and I do, don't get me wrong, I still go to Z sometimes, but because they're less frequent now, it's not like leading me down the path of depression. I can be sad. I can be sad for a week, 2 weeks. You name the weeks, I'm sad for it. But it's no longer progressing into like a heavy thing because I'm checking in and I don't know what it is. I'm adding like my personal perspective, I suppose. So yeah, it's a thing. These are just tools that I use. Whether you use them is another thing. I would advise using them, but don't use them in the same way. You need to know what's good for you, because I can be like, shut the fuck up, Ollie. You're thinking gibberish, mate. You fucking idiot. Or like slap myself on the head and be like, no, stop that. Come on, get on with it. And it's like, I would never advise you to slap yourself on the head, but that's what I do. And I find that funny. And to the outsider, I probably look not just chronically ill. I mean, I don't look chronically ill because we all look fine. Wink, wink. But I may look clinically insane, and that's chronically insane, I was going to say, but hey, and that's true and fine. Joyful activities, similar to outlets, find what you can and can't do. Test the waters a tiny bit. Please don't push yourself too far. Just if something feels right in your soul, please do it. Like me going to watch Oliver last night. Look at me now. Look at my energy, my talking to you levels. I'm much more alive. I feel alive, and like this is minimal. It's a minimal shift. But if I've recorded this yesterday, I would have been like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" It wouldn't be that bad, but it would be different. Today, I'm fucking full of it, mate. I'm fucking full of it. Sound like Cray Twin, Tom Hardy film. That one, legend. Is it called? It might be. Oh, and acceptance. But I feel like I've covered all these. I've been really good because I've got loads of these. And the last one is remind yourself that you are great. And so yes, you have a long-term illness. And yes, that's shit. And I'm really sorry. And I'm like saying I'm really sorry to me, but also to you because you're a listener and we're all listening. I'm really sorry. But you are still great. It doesn't change who you are as a person, what you can offer from within your soul. Physically, maybe it changes, but your intentions are still very much the same. It doesn't change your intentions as a human being. That's what I've learned. is like chronic illness hasn't changed my intentions as a human being. And so my offerings are still very much the same. And if anything, my offerings are now larger and more genuine and proper. And I mean everything I say now because I've gone through this journey, and I'm not going to waste any thoughts or words on something I don't mean or don't want to say. And so I'm more pure. Great. That's a great thing. And so I'm like, yes, I've got a long-term illness, but I'm more pure. And I know myself better than most people my age know themselves. And I'm like the wisest kid on the block, thanks to my chronic illness. The wisest. So there's a positive. I hate trying to do that, but it is important if I want to not be depressed 24/7. So yeah, find the moments, find your outlets, tell yourself you're great, find what's great about you, even if it's your loud trousers you wear. I've got some bright orange trousers. Haven't worn them in a while, but I've got them. They're sat actually in there. This is not a set. This is my actual bed. I am just starting this podcast world. I can only afford a microphone. This was here long before you guys were here. All right, let's get this straight. Moving on. Have you ever struggled with not feeling sick enough, or on good days like you've made it all up? Now, I know this question could be perceived by an outsider. Oh, an outsider, that's so divisive. I shouldn't say that. I mean someone with not with a chronic illness, or not familiar with the realms of this vile universe. I can hear them. They're getting on me right now. And they're saying, well, if you're not feeling sick enough, why are you trying to feel sick? It doesn't mean that. Chronically ill people will understand this totally, because it's a very common feeling. Because you always find moments where you're questioning whether you're making it up. It is very much a common struggle, because it's a question of, you have 30 seconds in a day with a chronic illness and you say, oh my God, my chest is not pulsing as hard as it was this morning. Am I making this up? And you start to question everything, of course. And it's a massive struggle, especially at the start when you're going to doctors and they're telling you nothing is wrong. Like when you're being told nothing is wrong from the people you're learnt to trust growing up, you start to question it yourself and you're like, am I going completely insane here? Like, are these things I'm feeling, are they not real? Like, are these lumps in my neck not real? Is this pain not real? Because the doctors keep telling me nothing's there. So, of course, this becomes a struggle, because the people we go to for help sort of just turn a mirror and go, no, that's the problem. It's you. You're the problem. Also, you can be doing something like, say you're scrubbing your kitchen floor with a mop and you're like, some days that can absolutely kill you. And like, you're only doing half the floor, and then you're like, can you come do the kitchen floor, please? I'm dead. Like, I'm done. I don't know why my nose became blocked then, but it did. I'm obviously allergic to the floor cleaner. Sorry. And then another day you can be, bloody springing your step doing the kitchen floor and like, whoop-de-doo. That was easy today. I'm clearly making it up. It's weird. It's a strange thing. And it's like, oh, no, maybe I'm fixed. Maybe what I've been doing fixed. And then you'll scrub the floor again with as much gusto as last time. And it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't happen again. So there is no telltale sign of better, worse, anything. It's just a constant up and down battle of, am I okay today? Can I do this today? And sometimes you don't even know if you can do that today. It's just like you have to do it, and then it's like, no, you can't do that today. And you're like, yeah, but I'm already doing it today. And then you're like, no, but you can't do that. So we've got to shut you down. And then you like pass out doing something, or like just feel the absolute worst. But chronic illness doesn't. There is no rhyme or reason with chronic illness. It's stop start. It's yes, no, mainly no, and it's there's nothing to it. No one can say this is why not. It doesn't happen. Also, I think with this is like, in social situations, I again, this is, I'm answering like as old me and new me. Old me, yeah. In social situations, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh shit, am I being too lively? Am I being too chatty? Am I being too funny? Classic Oliver, really, really funny. Am I being too funny? I don't know. Are they then thinking, well, he's clearly not ill? So then the struggle is there as well, because then you're thinking, well, they're thinking that. So then you start to question whether you're ill. But oh, mate, it's a horrible merry-go-round, I tell you. People think I'm faking it. Oh shit, maybe I am fake. Like, oh god, it's horrible. I think I've been efficient with this question answering, and I think for this one, it's like in time, the struggle of, am I ill? Am I faking it? All of these feelings. Do they think I'm this? Do they think I'm that? All of this sort of numbs down a little bit, because who gives a Jolly Roger? Like, who gives a Jolly Roger what they think about my situation? Because I know I'm not doing what I want to be doing. My life feels very shit compared to how it was. And so if I'm coming here and I'm socializing with you, one, this is high effort, but two, I'm doing this because I've chosen to use my energy here. And this means I'm getting something quite amazing from this. Like, for us to do something and to be somewhere and to engage with someone and to use energy up is like, these people need to feel special, because this is a rarity. And like, if I'm choosing to be here and choosing to give you my time, I want to be here. And so the last thing I'm going to do is dull myself down and be like, oh no, I better make sure that they think I'm ill. Because if I'm feeling okay and I want to bloody go for it, crack a few one-liners and have an absolute giggle for half an hour, I'm going to do that, because this is my moment. Like, and I don't get many moments. So I'm having my moment and I'm not dulling myself down. That's where I'm at now. Past self, very different. I totally relate. And obviously still have struggles throughout, of course. We're human. I'm human. Even if you're like 500 years into chronic illness and like the master of chronic illness would still have struggles for sure. It's a thing, as is chronic illness. It's up and down. So is like the mental, how do you even say that, the mental dealing with of chronic illness is still the same. Let's move on to the relatable topic segment of the week. This week's relatable topic, great. It was actually in the question and answers box I put on Instagram. Someone put something about FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's a big one and it's relatable, and I can relate immediately, and it's horrible. And I must say, this is going on social media, and one of the biggest things of FOMO for chronic illness is probably social media. Not this. I can't imagine you're going to get that much FOMO from watching me do this, talk about chronic illness, because you're just relating. I can't imagine you're like, oh man, that guy's bed sheet looks so good. I wish I had that. You're not missing much. In fact, you're very much here in this. There is no missing out here. We're together. This is great. You're having a party with me, with a D, a party with me. Like, this is no, you get my point. Anyway, all your friends, family, whatever, people you follow, basically, anyone you follow on social media, they're posting stuff. If they don't have a chronic illness, their lives are moving on. They're doing great things. They're doing things that you wanted to be doing. They're on holiday, having the best time here. And of course, it's all la-di-da nonsense that's not actually, in most cases, close to the reality. But still, we see that. And it's like always, because kind of on our phones, probably quite a lot, I would imagine, because chronic illness and all, not much else to do. Social media can be great. Like, this is great. I love posting about chronic illness, and I love chatting to you guys and hearing all about you and like what you're up to, and me doing the same, and you being like, I relate, and I'm being like, oh my god, other people relate to my situation. Like, that makes me feel like I'm not alone. Like, we've got a good thing going on. We've got a good thing. This is great. But there's a whole other side to social media for chronic illness, where the fear of missing out is huge, because you're just seeing everyone living. Like, stop living now. I've got a chronic illness. Everyone else stop living. Just pause. Wait for me a second, because I'm feeling like I'm being left behind. And that happens. And that is FOMO. And that's unfortunately it. And worst of all, it's not just FOMO. I've created one. I'm setting something up here. It's not just FOMO. It's FOMOFT. What is FOMOFT, I hear you say? Well, when you have a chronic illness, you get FOMOFT. The fear of missing out future things. FOMOFT. I did that. FOMOFT. Chronic illness. FOMOFT. Loads of it. future things all the time, because it's like they're doing this and they're, I would imagine, going to be wanting to do this, and then I want to do that, but I can't do that. Or like, will I ever be okay to do that? Or will I ever be okay to have this? Like, I think, oh my Lord, I'm thinking in the future here, but like, I'm like, I want to have kids and like run around with them. And like, it really scares me and makes me sad to think I'm not going to be able to like run around in a park and just run around the, this is just me being a kid, isn't it? I just really want to go in the playground. Well, whatever, like kick a football, all of the things. I just want to do things, and like I want to tap dance with my kids and stuff. And like I can't at the moment because my nether region says no, because the chronic illness sends lymph nodes, blah de blah de blah. But like it's things like that. Like I worry of FOMOFT. It's an issue, and like that's just one thing. There's loads of things. There's like events in a year's time, like, oh, my friend's getting married. Am I going to be able to go? Will I enjoy it? Can I do this? Can I do that? FOMO is a massive thing. And actually, I think it might be a heavier feeling than FOMO, because FOMO passes because it's like, oh, they're doing that right now, or this is happening soon, or they've just posted about that and I missed that. That's really sad. But like thinking about the future, we're talking like next week, but we're also talking 20 years time. I'm FOMOFting 20 years, 30 years time, and thinking about it all. FOMOFT, I feel, is more relatable to chronic illness. Hey, take that as you will, but to me, I'm feeling quite passionate about that right now. So, however, sensible present Ollie says, stop it, FOMOFT can fuck off, Ollie, stop it. Internal chat, you're part of it right now. Because we can only focus on what we can control, and that is the here and now. And I accept that things are like this. And what can I do with how I am right now? I'll tell you actually in a minute, probably at the end, if I've made a note to tell you at the end. But I've done something great recently that made me weep internally. I wish I could, yeah. I wish I was more emotional externally. Internally, whoa, it was an overwhelming experience. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Listen on to find out what the hell I'm talking about. Also, I think it's important to remember with FOMO and FOMOFT is like, we cannot be comparing with other people. We can't be comparing with someone who's living without a chronic illness, because their life is free of restrictions and our life has restrictions, and that's fine. Like, it's okay. We're here. This is shit. We have restrictions, but what can we do? And actually, I know myself better than all of those people because of what I've been through, because of chronic illness, because of what I've had to do and the angles I've had to take and the doors that have shut, and I've had to find new doors that open to allow me to have some form of joy and purpose and happiness in life. I've had to understand myself. And so, you know, we can have FOMO, but we're way wiser. We're like the smartest people on this planet. In fact, this YouTube channel has only been started because by about episode 10, I'm thinking we'll have an army big enough to walk into Parliament and be like, we're wiser than all of you. And so we are now actually going to become politicians, and you guys are actually leaving. Unless some of you have got chronic illnesses, in which case you can stay. No, I'm going too political here, but you get my drift. I think we're so wise, and that's a great thing. And that is something that they should be FOMOing of us. Like the stuff we go through, man, it's just crazy, isn't it? The stuff you go through, the chronic illness, is just mental. Like, you have to learn so much about yourself, and oh, crazy. Anyway, I need to move on before I dwell. I can't be dwelling because I'm very efficient now, and I'm feeling very efficient today. Thank you, Oliver the Musical, last night for making me efficient today, and Oscar for your slapstick camaraderie. Storytime / advice segment. Right, I need to read this exactly, and it says, how to take it in your stride when you're constantly disregarded and gaslit for your symptoms. That's a big one. I would like to read this actually, because I wanted to spend a bit of time being really focused and efficient on this one, because this is very important. And so I'm going to read this word for word because this is important and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything out. Like, you know, when you go into a doctor's and you're like, I'm going to say this, and then you say like 2 of those things, you're like, had that covered. 5 minutes later, you're like, fuck, I forgot 3 of the most important things and now I've got to wait 6 months for another appointment. This would be like that. So I'm going to read. Let's go. So just to remind you, the storytime/advice is how to take it in your stride when you're constantly disregarded and gaslit for your symptoms. This fits perfectly with the running theme of this delightful podcast. I really do think this comes down to adapting the chronic illness lived experience. This is not an easy thing to do, and I mean it took me 2 years of feeling suicidal and 4 years of therapy and other things to get to this point. But it's about knowing yourself, allowing yourself, and ultimately allowing your illness. You know your lived experience more than anyone else, and so it becomes this sort of superpower to say, great, I can hear you saying that what I'm going through isn't real and that I'm making it all up, but actually, I'm going to disregard your disregard because it's worthless to me. I often become consumed by this and like it would 100% make my symptoms much worse, but like who even cares? I got to the point where I was like, look, my life sucks enough without adding your silly negative vibes to it. It's sad that they can't find a grain of empathy and understanding towards your situation, and that does reflect heavily on them more than yourself, and it's important to know that. You know your experience and you are living this nightmare, and it's taken every ounce of life as you know it and screwed it up into a ball and thrown it away. This is sad. This is shit. And so you owe it to yourself to block out the haters and say, I hear you, but I don't hear you. Goodbye. That's what I wrote. And I feel like that's really appropriate. And that's, again, the running theme of this podcast so far, this week's episode, has been, what has this theme been this week? What has the theme been? I've forgotten because I have a chronic illness and brain fog comes in. But the theme seems to have been something along the lines of allowing the situation you're in and knowing yourself. And again, you do that on your own schedule. There's no magic formula to this. You can figure things out in your own time, on your own path. And I think that's really important because I don't think someone should be telling you do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, because everyone's different. Like my set of outlets and magical moments have come from me figuring that out and getting to know what's good for me and what I need and what you need in certain moments as well. Like sometimes I don't need to go and see my ducks, and sometimes I don't need to go and see a musical because maybe seeing a musical would actually make me more sad. But when I'm in the right headspace, seeing a musical, look at me today. Come on. And yeah, like I said, it took me 2 years of feeling suicidal and 4 years of therapy and other things to get to this point where I'm now like, look, I hear you, and great, well done for having an opinion on something you know nothing about, um, and enjoy. I'm sorry that you've had to feel such negatives in your own personal lived experience about my life and my own personal lived experience, which you know nothing about because you're not me and you're not living my experience. So see ya, basically. And yeah, now I can chuck it out and actually I laugh about it most of the time. I think it's stupid. Like, can you imagine wasting? Can you imagine wasting energy? Like, I can't. We need to be careful with our energy, but imagine someone spending time thinking and talking all this negative jargon rubbish. Did I say jargon in the last episode? If so, it's becoming part of my daily vocab, and I'm really happy about that. Oh, I don't think I did. I think my mum was looking up puppy trainers, and one of them said, no nonsense, no jargon. And she was like, whoa, that's cool. And I was like, yeah, they mean business. Anyway, jargon, great. Word of the day, jargon. I put it into perspective. I take a little bird's eye view and I go, hang on a sec. Here's Oliver here living this experience. Horrible time. Poor guy. Not okay. Can't do this. Can't do that. In pain. Sad. Whatever. You know, he's got it all going on. Then this person over here casting their judgments, saying some things, disregarding, gaslighting is experience. Look at it from afar. Oliver, great. This person, what's the point? It's stupid. It's irrelevant. Should this person be affecting Oliver? No, because Oliver has so much to deal with here. He doesn't need this. And this person clearly also needs many sessions of therapy, because if they're reflecting that onto you, if they're reflecting that onto you, more fool them, as the old saying goes. More fool them. What a waste of time. Block out the haters. That's one of my worst things, is like knowing that people are feeling like this from other people being so stupid and annoying. Like it's like, what would my old dad would say, pig-headed ignorance. It is. It's like it comes from a place of ignorance. Like, get to know before you bloody start chatting about it, mate. Like, so stupid. What a waste of time. What a waste of everyone's time. And it's so sad that for years and years, it made me feel so shit. And yeah, suicidal and horrible. And oh, it was awful, because then it makes you question your whole experience. And that's why it links with this week's podcast, Oliver. You get it. You knew that way before I did. We need to go straight to the mantra, the mantra, the mantra of the week. Oh, I've even written in the theme of this week's episode, because apparently there is a theme. I actually want to use the cringiest mantra ever. It's short, it's sweet, and it's probably written on a few walls around maybe the UK, maybe the world, who knows. But we're going to go with it, and we're going for positive vibes only, dude. And I think the dude's quite important. It's crucial in the understanding of this week's mantra. And yeah, I haven't done a silly mantra before. I'm not going to then say, no, I'm joking. This is the mantra. Positive vibes only, dude. Because it's important. And again, I've written something that I need you to hear, because it's so important. Positive vibes only, dude, because again, that links with listening to these external, ignorant, silly things, gaslighting, silly things, people. I'm not saying your feeling of that is silly. I'm saying they are silly. What they are saying is silly. What a waste of time. Yuck. So positive vibes only, dude. Just hold on to the positives this week. Hold on to them. Whatever you can. It doesn't matter. And block out the haters. I've written it again. And recognize that you need positive vibes only. You don't need that. Because as I said, bird's eye view, perspective of what you're going through. This is heavy, dark, horrible, really sad. And why? We don't need these external negatives. Go away. Like, go away, you vile little negative bug. Like, it's not necessary. Like, this is so much going on right now. And so if you can find any moments of positives, doesn't matter if they're big or small, anything you get joy from, any moment of flickering smiles, just anything. Watch Friends and like go, haha. Not like, ha, but like, haha. That's what Friends does to me. It makes me go, haha. Like, there's a few minutes, like, haha, and not ha ha ha. Just take a haha, take a haha, take a haha, not a haha. That's fine. Find your moments, because you've got enough on your bloody plate without allowing naysayers and gargoyles to influence things. Positive vibes only, dude. It's done. This episode is done. But I am now, as I teased you earlier, going to tell you my personal, I can't remember what the conversation was, but my personal thing that I've found that I got excited about earlier but didn't tell you. Hopefully you remember. But this is some personal news, and it's great. And I think we were talking about outlets and things and blah, blah, blah. Well, many years ago, a doctor said to me, okay, you can't perform anymore because of your chronic illness. So have you considered being a mime artist? Now, at the time, this was very horrible for me. I'll laugh about it now. It wasn't the best experience, I must tell you. But now, after, again, years have passed, I've started finding, how can I get close to performing without performing? And how can I sort of be, again, I'm not controlling, but in control, so it's not going to tip me over the edge with my illness. And like, how long can I speak? Can I do podcasts now? Yeah, I can, because I'm doing one now. But so I'm here, and so I've been testing the waters, and so I've taken a giant leap. And so next year, I'm actually going to go and do a 1 year acting course. It's 1 day a week. I don't know if I can manage it. I think I might be able to, because I'm really aware of everything now. And I'm like, if I'm doing too much, I can just stop and I can whack my TENS machine on and I can chill out, and like, it's the best. So I went for an audition and they were like, yeah, come along, do your 2 pieces. 2 pieces were obviously great, clearly, and then we'll chat. And so we did, and I did a really fun big Shakespeare piece, goofing about, really great fun, and then a real stripped back but still kind of funny but vulnerable modern piece. And so we were chatting, blah blah blah. I did my speeches, had a bit of fun with them. They like played around with my speeches, and actually really funny. The big fun Shakespeare thing. She said, "Right, now sit down opposite me and do it as if we're in therapy and you're seeking reassurance from me." So of course it's very different to the Shakespeare speech, and I wouldn't have been able to do that before illness, but now, because of the illness and maybe because I've been to so many therapy sessions, I'm like, well, I can channel that for sure. So like bang, and it was great. And like I can do so much more as an actor now because of what I've been living. So like my acting is better because of my living, not my, like, I haven't had training, like I've just been living this illness. And now I think I'm much better as an actor. Anyway, go do that. And they were marvelous. They were so good at the chat about everything going on with me, and so understanding. And essentially the result was, look, as long as the communication is there from our side and your side, and it's just a free flowing thing, we can make it work. We're going to make it work. This is fine. Anyway, so then I go away, wait to see if I got in. Bang, gang, gang, bang, 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 got in. Really, oh, I can't even tell you. I'm playing it down so much, but no, it's otherworldly, to know that I can go and just goof about. Like, oh my God, I'm coming over all funny now. Just to know that I can go in a space again and be a clown for, a couple of hours. Oh my God, it feels, I can't wait. It's a test. It might not go well, but we don't know that, and I can only control what I can control now. I know what I can and can't do. So as long as I'm sensible, it should be okay. But it's going to be great fun, and there's a showcase at the end, and agents come and watch and say, I'd like to sign you up or not. And it's just everything 18-year-old me really wanted, and like I couldn't give that to him when I got ill. And now I can give a slice of it. It's not drama school where it's like 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, because I can't do that. But it's 9 hours on a Wednesday. I'm not going to be up and Adam for 9 hours. I'll probably be up and Adam for like an hour, 2 hours, maybe max. And some days I won't even be talking, because it'll just be like moving around like a floating cabbage or something. Fun, great, stupid. And yeah, it's just, oh God, I can't even tell you. Like, yeah, emotional. It's amazing. Just, I didn't think I'd do it. The doctor was saying, be a mime artist. And I was like, fucking hell, I'm done. I literally am done. I can't do anything now. And then years later, my physical symptoms are pretty much the same, but how I'm dealing with it in my brain is meaning I can get, it's, if you'd asked me 4 years ago, would you want to do that? I'd say no, because then I'd be thinking, well, I should be here doing this or that or this. But now I'm like, you've got to do what you can do now, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, and hey, I might go and then in a year's time be like, wow, I can do this for 2 days a week. But I might come away and go, I can't even do it for 1 day. I don't know. So I'm just going to go and try. And yeah, and I need to thank you guys as well for being supportive of my Instagram and social media and all of that, and just being receptive, because it's like, it's important for me to talk about this topic. I'm really passionate about it. And then it's also my creative outlet. And yeah, just amazing to be received by people. And yeah, I would wager that me doing social media has meant, oh, hang on a sec, I think I might be able to do 1 day a week acting training, and then see where it happens, and see if chronic illness me can find a spot somewhere in the industry. I don't know. Will I be in a sitcom? Maybe I will. Will I be the next James Bond? It's all possible. A chronically ill James Bond. Who knows? I've spoken far too much. I need to stop because I'm very aware and I'm communicating that to you now, just like I'm going to do on my course. I'm communicating, my neck is almost done. Thank you so much for listening. Like, share, comment, do all the things, please. Spotify, YouTube, however you've listened, thank you so much. I hope this has been useful. I hope you've taken something from it. Like I said, your own personal thing. It's not for me to tell you exactly what to do, but I'm just telling you what I did. And I think parts of it are applicable to your life because the emotional side of chronic illness is very, very similar. But everyone's lived experience physically and things are obviously different and heavier and lighter and softer. And all the words, I'm waffling. Lovely to see you. Have a lovely week. Mantra of the week: positive vibes only, dude. Block out the haters. Goodbye.